Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the December 20th, 2023 Umatilla County Board of Commissioners meeting. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody, and I do want to remind everyone that this is a public hearing and is also, being attended virtually. If you have public comments, please hold that to 3 minutes, and when you do come up, please give your name and address so we have it for the record. If you have comments on an agenda item, please wait till that agenda item comes up. If it's a non-agenda item, we'll do that at the start of the meeting when that section is recognized. So at this time, I would like to have Captain Primer come up and start recognitions. I'm going to take privilege here and welcome Captain Primer to please read this commendation or make this commendation.
Thank you, Commissioners. So I believe it was 11/23/23. Dispatch received a call of a house fire out in the middle of nowhere out by Pilot Rock. The location was Redwine Road and also Hoft Road. The caller happened to be one of our own dispatchers, which was Aspen Corey. She's fairly new. She was spoken like a true dispatcher. She gave the address and then said who she was. She advised that she was in a house on the second story, trapped with her boyfriend and unable to get out, and the house was filling with smoke. So it came into dispatcher Terry Hutchinson, who took control of the call, continuing to reassure her and offer options for getting her and the family out to safety. Throughout this call and the second call, I was able to hear her coughing due to the heavy smoke, which was reverberating through the residence. While attempting to get out of the residence, phone contact became lost with Miss Corey. As you can imagine, this elevated everything, both on site and for the dispatchers and the responding units. During this time, dispatchers Howler, Payne, trainee Parsons, and dispatcher Eichenlaub were handling their own radio channels, incoming phone calls, both emergent and non-emergent, and also handling dispatcher Hutchinson's channel so that she could focus on Aspen. We had Pendleton, Echo, and Pilot Rock all responding to the location, and as this is a very remote location, there's very little water out there as well. The dispatch team began calling for utilities, which is standard procedure. Additionally, dispatcher Haller sent Umatilla County deputies Cody Gray, Jeff Brown, and Anthony Scott to the scene to assist fire EMS and also to support dispatcher Corey and her family. One of the things that came out about this was they were talking, dispatcher Corey was talking to her boyfriend in the background and also to dispatcher Hutchinson about, well, I'll just try to go downstairs, and because of the potential for the, I don't know the exact word, but the fire coming up, they decided not to open the door, which was a good plan. However, they were still trapped on the second story with no way out. At about 3:23, it was confirmed that the parties had made it out of the structure with some injuries. You can imagine what kind of relief that was. I was notified on my way in. I was coming in for a 4 a.m. shift, and I can't repeat what I said, but I may have sped up a little bit more to get there. Everybody involved in this highly energized incident is commended for their quick response and outside-the-box thinking. They all realized that this was one of our own and that this incident would reverberate throughout our agencies. The deputies knew that the dispatchers were waiting on pins and needles for an on-site update, which was provided, easing the overwhelming amount of tension that was being felt. I am so very proud of our collective Umatilla County Sheriff's Office team. They have made everybody extremely proud due to the heroic efforts given to dispatcher Corey and her family. From the quick response of the notifications to the area fire departments, to Pendleton PD, Sergeant Reddington self-dispatched himself because he quickly realized there was more to the situation without being told it was one of our own, to the Umatilla County dispatcher deputies, to the dispatch supervisor being notified. Each piece of the wheel worked seamlessly together for the best possible outcome. This incident showcased the partnership that the members of the Umatilla County Sheriff's Office portrays and embodies day in and day out. While this was more of a personal investment, each of them provides the same level of professionalism and to the public as well. You all worked together on this to achieve an extremely positive outcome. Thank you all for remaining calm under pressure and extending yourself to your partners and your Umatilla County Sheriff's Office family. I know that each of you provides exceptional service each and every time you answer a phone or respond to a call for service. In this particular incident, you all upscaled this to an exceptional level of service. I presented them with dispatch challenge coins that we created across the board, including Sergeant Reddington and the fire departments. As you can imagine, it was pretty intense there for a bit. I actually talked to Aspen on the phone, and she kept saying, "Yeah, I'm fine," as she's coughing and can't talk. But you can also hear her kick into dispatch mode again, where she starts telling her boyfriend, "You need to move the vehicles, you need to get the dogs secured, you need to get the animals here and there." Him and her both got minor cuts and such from breaking a window, trying to retrieve another dispatcher's dog. They did have one dog that they lost out of the situation, but it was pretty dang good.
Thanks, Kim,
Thank you.
very much. And please pass on our congratulations and thanks to the whole dispatch department. I know it happens every day, so it's quite the achievement. We lost video, but Tim's working on it, so can we go ahead with the meeting without video?
Yes, we still have audio, so.
Okay.
I kind of don't mind, we could do it, so.
You don't have it either.
No, you're fine, we're.
We lost the county, not the rest of it.
Right, so we can't see the L. All right, the next commendation I have is for the work Captain Ward is done on Measure 114. I'd like to read this statement of support. This came during the Oregon State Sheriff's annual conference. So after Measure 114 was enacted by Oregon voters, OSSA was tasked with putting together a process for law enforcement agencies to accept applications and issue Measure 114 permits, which had to be created from scratch as no such system ever existed. Captain Ward, as one of the most experienced experts in the state on the process of issuing a concealed handgun license, took the lead in this work group and was the primary drafter. Her guidance and technical skill led to an extremely detailed 49-page permit process that provides a clear roadmap even for agencies who have never been involved in similar work. The measure, while modeled after the Oregon concealed handgun licensing statutes, left a lot of questions as to how the process should actually work. Captain Ward did not hesitate to step up to this challenge. The process needed to be done quickly, and it was subject to intense scrutiny due to the high visibility issues and technical complexity involved in regulating firearms purchased, as well as litigation about the measure in both state and federal court. The process involves local enforcement agencies, Oregon State Police, and even the FBI in a complex web of interactions and steps to culminate in issuing a permit. Captain Ward's leadership and selflessness often resulted in her working on the process on weekends and late into the evenings, even while leading her division at the Umatilla County Sheriff's Office. Captain Ward is a shining example of the commitment, drive, expertise, and selflessness that brings honor to the office of sheriff throughout Oregon. I'd like to say congratulations to Captain Ward. I think that people just realize she does this every day. It doesn't need to be just Measure 114 or this process. What you do every day at the sheriff's office in all different things. I mean, I've had requests that you just reacted to almost instantly. So congratulations for the recognition. It was more than well-deserved, but you should be recognized every day for all the work that you do. So congratulations. The next commendation is another one that was handed out or recognized at the OSSA convention this year. On Thursday, December 7th, 2023, the Oregon State Sheriff's Association held its annual awards banquet at the River House Hotel and Convention Center in Bend, Oregon. Umatilla County Sheriff's Office Dwight Johnson was awarded the 2023 OSSA Search and Rescue Coordinator of the Year. Big honor here, guys. Nominations for this award must be submitted to the Oregon State Sheriff's Office from the Sheriff's Office around the state and are reviewed by the OSSA Search and Rescue Advisory Council. The nominee must be a SAR coordinator or manager who has distinguished themselves through contributions to local, regional, or statewide search and rescue programs, or an individual effort exclusively within a SAR program or external partners who assist in search and rescue efforts for the citizens of Oregon. The selection committee reviews the following criteria: exceptional effort and/or accomplishments in fulfilling the responsibilities of the nominee's assignment, outstanding accomplishment to the public safety and service and to the sheriff's office, and contributions that are significant to other employees and/or citizens. Sergeant Dwight Johnson has a lifelong experience in law enforcement and search and rescue. He has dedicated his life to helping others in need. As a SAR coordinator, he passionately and humbly shares his wealth of knowledge with others. He is truly one of the very best, and we are proud to have him as part of our team. I hope that you guys relay what he means to the commissioners also. If you guys have a way to name this award after Dwight, that would be what should be done. Because Dwight has definitely gone above and beyond, and as this says, has made the Umatilla County Sheriff's Office kind of a model for the rest of the state. So congratulations to Dwight Johnson, Sergeant Dwight Johnson, on receiving the Sergeant Dwight Johnson Award. I just named it after him because he deserves it. So if you guys would please pass that on, that would be great. Other commendations, awards, comments?
Can't top that. Nope.
Thank you guys, and I'm glad that Stern, thank you very much for everything you do, Karen, and your whole team. So, no minutes, right? Any additions to the agenda changes?
Please no.
At this time, I'll open up the podium for public comment. Again, please state your name and address, and please hold your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone that wishes to have public comments this morning? Seeing none, we'll move on into the business section. So we'll start with the sheriff's office position. Welcome.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Yeah.
Paul Wolverton with the Sheriff's Office. I'm here this morning because we've done such a good job in hiring. I have no open positions. So what we're requesting this morning...
12 months of me to be the chair all year.
Exactly. So thank you for that. So what we're requesting this morning is an overhire. We hired Sterling Hall last year with the understanding that he wouldn't be a long-term employee. He's a retiree from Oregon State Police. And so he is due to retire again, coming up next June. And so with that, we have a candidate from our last testing process who we feel would be a good hire for us. He's had a stellar background in all of the other testing processes. We're ready to hire him, but he is an entry-level applicant, so he would have to attend the academy and all of those other field training, all of those things. So what we're requesting is to be able to hire him in January so that by the time he's about ready to be on the road solo, would be within at least a couple months of Sterling retiring from us. So with that, we respectfully request to overhire in the Patrol Division of the Sheriff's Office beginning January 2nd, 2024 through June 30th, 2024.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
No, I know how hard it is to train people up over there and keep it, well, maintaining your staffing. So I think it's a great move. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'd authorize to overhire double fill in the Patrol Division of the Sheriff's Office beginning January 2nd, 2024 through June 30th of 2024.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Got off early, easy that time.
Next item on the agenda is an item that was brought back at the request of the commissioners and is a purchase of a trailer, a UTV trailer.
Yep, good morning. I just want to take a quick minute to recognize all of our staff here and say how proud I am for all of their work. Sergeant Johnson, Captain Ward, dispatching the fire incident, amazing job, and we just want to make sure we publicly, from our standpoint, thank them and recognize how great a job they do. So what we have today is a bid for a,
Name and
pardon?
name for the record.
Jim Littlefield, Under Sheriff, Umatilla County.
Sorry.
Thank you. We have a bid for a snowmobile ATV OHV trailer. It'll be used by our snow patrol, ATV patrols to patrol the areas that we're contracted with. Currently, we have contract with the Oregon State Parks that provided a $22,000 grant towards this purchase, of which we have a 20% match. And so we went out for bid, got a second bid for a trailer from Don Johnson Sales in Walla Walla, $29,800. So we're requesting that we purchase that and fund it through our Oregon State grant, Oregon State Parks grant, as well as some funds that we get every year from the Oregon State Snowmobile Association, which goes toward funding some of these materials. And requesting that we have the trailer approved for purchase.
Questions, comments?
No, I don't want Under Sheriff Littlefield to think I'm picking on him because I did send him an email. I couldn't leave it alone. I had to ask additional questions. And he was very quick on the answer and answered all my questions. So thank you.
Sure, no problem.
You can handle it though, if you were picking on him. Just saying.
I'm not picking
He
on
knows
him.
you care now. John, any questions?
No, I don't.
Commissioner Schiff.
Okay.
Entertain a motion.
Yeah. I move to award contract for purchase of trailer from Don Johnson Sales for the amount of $29,800.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much.
And thank you guys for bringing this back after
Thanks.
our request. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is dispatch flooring. Is Mark or Karen? Okay.
Good morning, I have an announcement for you. You probably don't need that, I'll give you it anyway.
Thank you.
This looks vaguely familiar.
Really? You come back in time. Captain Primer, Umatilla County Sheriff's Office, Communications Division. I was back asking for new flooring because it's been there for 24 years and it looks awful. So that was approved. This is the corresponding piece with it. We would like to hire the contractor who originally installed the desk or the consoles as they're referred to come in and assist maintenance, county IT, the radio district, our phones, and anybody else I need to have on site when we go to do the floor replacement. The desks are highly mechanically
Sensitive.
yeah, and we're trying to make them last longer. We've had to replace a couple motors here and there, a couple headlights or lamps and that kind of thing, and a few heaters in them. But at the time of the install, we're just shy of 17,000 apiece. I have no idea what that would be at this time, probably upwards of 25,000. And I would hate to have it damaged. Also, everything is intricately tied together and also not only screwed in together, but it is also wired in. So all of these people need to be on site, but specifically these people. The plan is to lift, move, shift until we can get the flooring put underneath and then put it back very carefully and rebuild them as needed. So I am respectfully requesting approval for the contractor to be on site for 3 days. They're very confident that they can get it done in that amount of time. The quote came in at $8,000 and they believe that they can get it done in that 3-day window. If it does go longer, it is a cost per hour after that.
Questions, comments?
One thing I did notice was I saw Riley nodding his head every time you were talking about the challenges of moving these. And we moved them once before, I think. And the company came in and did it. And I was shocked at how much crap
It is,
under there. And,
yeah.
But these are, and I remember Captain Llewellyn would always say, these are the dispatcher's fire trucks. These are
They
their
are.
patrol cars. And she was right when she said that. The dispatcher lives there 24/7, 365. So there's a lot to that. You're absolutely right. These are extremely complicated desks. They're not just your typical stand-up desk you see here at the courthouse.
Well, I got a little nervous when the flooring company said, oh, we'll just have some guys come in and we'll lift it up and we'll put them underneath. And I'm like, I don't think you understand how these are put together, not to mention just the wiring. And so I said I didn't think that was a very good plan.
I have a question. How many of these are there?
There are 6.
There's 6,
Mhm.
okay. And I think I read in an email that was attached to this that they would have to be replaced in not too far in the future.
I put them on the 3 to 5 year window. We've installed them and obtained them in 2014, and usually their life is about 10 to 15 years. So I think we can, if we take care of them like we have been, we'll be able to get another 5 years out of them. But I wanted it out there in the capital outlay for that 3 to 5 window, because I do believe they will have to be replaced at some point. It'll just become too cost expensive to keep replacing. The company that comes down and fixes them for us is out of Poulsbo, Washington. So that involves a whole day of travel. Usually they stay overnight, depending on how complex it is. They're very good at asking our county maintenance to try and troubleshoot it, and or myself. I didn't know that was one of those all other duties as assigned when I signed on, but I've learned a lot about them. But I just because I know the wear and tear 24/7, 365, that's what we're going to be looking at, is having to replace them probably closer to, I'm pushing for the 5-year window.
Okay. I just didn't want to spend $8,000
No.
to move them and then and
Replace
I
them.
didn't realize the replacement cost either, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Other questions?
No. Mr. Chair, I move approval for a contractor to be on site to assist with moving the dispatch consoles while the replacement of the new carpet and laminate flooring is installed for the quoted price of $8,000.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Next item is painting of the Justice Center.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mark Tanner, Facilities Manager, Umatilla County. Before you is the painting for the Justice Center, which is part of my capital improvements. Amazingly enough, we got 5 bids, which I was really excited. So that was, usually we struggle to get 2, so 5 was awesome. The low bid was $48,750 from a local contractor, A Sharp Painting. I'd like to move forward with that.
Comments, discussion?
What color are you gonna paint it?
I'm gonna talk to Terry, see if he wants to up it.
Up it. You're not up at all.
Up to
No,
Up
up the look.
Gotcha. I mean, you don't like to see stuff look?
It's all right.
Mark, have you worked with A Sharp before?
Yes,
They do a good job.
yes.
In my house.
Well, there you go. Okay.
Any other comments?
I move to approve notice of intent to award contract for Justice Center painting to A Sharp Painter in the amount of $48,700.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Next one is yours also?
Yes. So this one is for the Juvenile Detention Center. I have quite a few water issues up there because we have a lot of raw cinder block that the water is bleeding through now. And so I think this one is really almost the most important one, but same thing, we had multiple bids, which was great. The low bid was Tino's, which is also a local contractor, for $35,387.32. And I'd like to move forward with that.
Questions, comments? I have a quick one. Are they gonna do a masonry seal before they put the paint on?
Yes.
They are gonna do that. I didn't see it.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve notice of intent to award contract for juvenile facility painting to Tino's Painting in the amount of $35,387.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next one is yours.
This is for, we lost a compressor in one of the units up at Juvenile. And so this is a replacement of the compressor for $6,910 from Murphy's Heating.
By the time we get all these replaced, they're all gonna start over again, aren't they?
Yeah. It's kind of like painting a bridge.
Is this going into the HVAC that we replaced, or is this part of the other half that didn't get replaced?
This was the Juvenile side unit
Okay,
that lost the compressor. The last repairs have been on the CDDP side.
so is this gonna cure the heat and air conditioning issues, you think?
Yeah, they're golden right now. In fact, they complained that they were too hot, so I turned the temperature down.
You like getting that call?
It's my favorite.
Hadn't heard that.
No, me either.
Wishes?
I move to approve the payable to Murphy's Heating and Air LLC in the amount of $6,950.
Second. Been a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Next item is a administrative IT policy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Riley Wortman, IT. So Administrative Services is requesting the approval and adoption of the attached cybersecurity policy. This policy is required for the county to qualify for a higher level of cybersecurity insurance through our property and liability insurance carrier. So we request that you adopt the cybersecurity policy numbered AS 14.0. Are there any questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Clean desk.
Yes. Okay, so clean desk is where, so if you have papers with confidential information, you keep those turned over so people can't, you have people walk into your office, they can't glance at your desk and see, oh, this person has their private information on your desk. So basically it's just it's not necessarily, you don't have to tidy your pins and stuff. It's more about the information that's on your desk. So you have employee information come across your desk fairly often. It's one of those of keeping that private. So you'll, if somebody comes in, you keep that turned over. If,
So you can have a messy desk, just has to be turned over.
Exactly. You can have a messy desk. It's just more about the keeping the information clean on your desk.
I'm good with it then.
I'm not gonna say it. The follow-up to that is, how's it get enforced? It's a policy, it has regulations, it
So-
has directions, how's it get enforced?
I believe that would be an HR, we've worked with HR on this, as well as our insurance, but it's one of those things like the HIPAA policies, and I think at the very top of the line, it'll be something that it'd be an HR issue if the policies aren't being followed.
And the reason I asked that, Riley, is we had this discussion at the staff meeting, and the one thing that came to my mind after the staff meeting is the establishment of like our safety committee is that something that we're working toward? Because right now, they're truly, is it complaint driven at this point?
That's the way I would put it. And it would be up to the managers to kind of enforce that.
Got it. Other comments, discussion? Wishes?
I move to adopt the cybersecurity policy, policy number AS-14.0.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thanks, Riley. And thanks for the cure here too. Next item is election payable.
I don't see Kim, so I could probably stand in for Dan on this one as well. So attached is a payable for the ballot reader maintenance. The invoice is for $10,881.68. This is a yearly routine expense for our elections and has been budgeted for. So we request that the commissioners approve and sign the payable to the election systems and software in the amount of $10,881.68.
Questions, comments?
I do. What exactly do they do for $10,881.68 every year?
So, not 100% sure, but a lot of it is the physical maintenance of the ballot machines. So they'll come in and they do like a cleaning and that sort of stuff on the ballot machines, and so they keep it so it's in working order. Because this is the machine that actually runs through and it's reading the ballots.
Is this one that's only 2 years old or 3 years old?
I don't know the answer on that.
Got it.
Robert?
I'm not certain, but I kind of think we bought it used from someone else. Like Lane County or someone who didn't need it anymore. They bought a fancier one than we have, I believe. So I don't believe it's brand new, but we didn't buy it too awful long ago.
I know what you're talking about, but I just don't know if that's the same thing.
I don't know either. Let's see, I do have the payable here. So this covers the extended warranty with annual maintenance, the firmware licensing as well is in there, and the election reporting software. And that's licensed yearly. So the separation on that is the annual maintenance that they come in and work on the machine is $4,404.49. To license the firmware on the machine is $1,653.75, and the reporting software is $4,823.44.
You probably don't know the answer to this, Riley, but it talks about the annual maintenance and extended warranty. What is an extended warranty? Is it 5 years with annual maintenance for 5 years?
On the thing, it covers March 24 to February 25. So this is a yearly maintenance agreement. So if something breaks within that year, so this is for 1 year, but it includes the maintenance on the machine.
Well, what's the extended part of it?
We're extending it out another year. So the extended part is the original warranty period's up. So we're pushing out the warranty a year.
Well, it's not an extended warranty, it's a continuation of the warranty we have.
Right. It's extending the time frame that we're purchasing warranty coverage on it.
Okay. Additional questions, comments?
I have one question.
Sure.
Do you know what a new machine would cost?
I don't. I can I'll ask Dan to see if he can follow up with you on that.
Do we have a motion on that or no?
No, we
Yeah.
don't.
With that, Mr. Chair, I move to approve and sign payable to election systems and software in the amount of $10,881.68.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thanks for all your help. Fair board appointments.
The matter before the board is to appoint two individuals to the Fair Board. Excuse me, wrong board. This is to reappoint
My head came up.
I was thinking, wait a minute.
too many board appointments in one meeting.
Yeah.
There were 5 individuals on the current Fair Board whose terms have expired, 2 expired, and 2 and 3 are expiring the end of this year. All are eligible for another term, at least another term, and so they're all willing to serve for another additional 3 years. And so I'll request to be reappointed.
Did you want to make that one?
Yeah, I do. It's just gonna check out my comments first.
Yeah, my hat's off to every one of these individuals, because it takes time to do this. And I don't think people realize that being on the Fair Board is an easy thing to do. I mean, it really isn't. Everybody's got an idea, and there's a lot of time and labor on these folks. And so,
And that's not part of their regular duties either.
no, it's not. So I think that, my hat is off to them for wanting to volunteer for this board.
Great comments, Commissioner Timmons. The only thing lacking in this motion is that there was some way to recognize the families of those Fair Board
No
members,
kidding.
because it's not just the Fair Board member, it's their families that are involved too. So I would like to make a motion to go ahead and endorse the candidates and the reappointment to the Umatilla County Fair Board.
So adopt that.
Adopt order number BCC 2023-048.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Next item on the agenda is the River Trail Study.
Actually, there's a Fair Payable.
The next item on the agenda is a fair payable.
And this request is before the board due to the dollar amount. It is to Shelco Electric for the electrical services they provided during the fair for $6,027.07.
I'll move for approval of the payment to Shelco Electric.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next item on the agenda is the River Trail Study.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bob Walder, Community Development Director. Here seeking your approval to use some of the ARPA funds that the county set aside for the Umatilla River Trail project. As you know, we've received a grant from the Oregon Community Pathways Program in the amount of just over $6 million for the trail project. And we're looking to get out in front of that work a little bit and do some of this cultural resources survey and report, which we think will take a little time, so we don't want that to hold up the rest of our grant project. So we're seeking your approval to enter into a contract with Substrate Collaborative Anthropological Research. It's a mouthful, but Andrew Frierson is the consultant. He's started out on his own. He's based out of LeGrand, so it's nice to have someone that's close to Umatilla County. And the cost estimate for the work comes in at $13,379. That was his estimate, and he's also included a scope of work that I've attached to this item. So, any questions?
The only comment I have, Bob, is that as this project moves forward, everybody calls it something different. I think sticking with the Umatilla River Trail project is
Yeah.
probably the best thing to do. Anyway, that's just a side note. Wishes?
If you read down through what he's proposed to do, you know, that is extremely interesting. And exactly where they're going to do their dig and why. I just think that's fascinating. I really do. So.
But
Okay. I move to approve utilization of ARPA funds to execute contract with Substrate Collaborative Anthropological Research for Cultural Resources Study.
second.
Well, that's the reason you.
Not gonna lie,
A
Cindy.
motion and a second, all those in favor? Thank you, Bob. The next is the AWERE grant.
Yeah, so Commissioner Schaefer and I sit on the Athena Weston Education and Resource Enhancement Grant Committee, or AWARE is the acronym. And we approved a couple projects, several projects last year, but there's two that would like to request an extension. The Keys Cemetery, Blue Mountain Cemetery project is conducting a survey, and they need some additional time to get a contractor on board. And then Athena Weston School District is planning to construct some pickleball courts at Weston Middle School, and they just need a little additional time to secure the rest of their funding for the project to make it whole. So those are the two requests for extension. Any questions on those?
Should be noted that the board was in favor of this.
Yes, yeah, so there was, we did an email vote and confirmed that the members of the board were in support.
Mr. Chair, I'd move approval and extension of AWERE grant after completion to September 30th, 2024 for the Keys Blue Mountain Cemetery grant in the amount of $2,000 for the GPR survey and for the Athena Weston School District grant in the amount of $19,951 for pickleball court renovation.
Second, but I want to make a comment.
Sure.
Okay, on that Keys Blue Mountain Cemetery grant, I did a story on that several years ago, and I think it's really interesting to note that what they're doing is they're just trying to find bodies out there. And so they might have a rock here or something there, and so, you know, that's part of, I'm assuming that's part of what they're doing, is they're going in there trying to find where these bodies are. But one of the people that is actually buried there was the first wagon master that brought a wagon train across the Blue Mountains. So just fantastic history in that cemetery. And the town has done a wonderful job as far as keeping it secure, because there were some problems with that for a while. So they've done fencing and all sorts of things. So, you know, really, they're doing a great job on this project. Second,
You already did.
I already did. There you go. I wanted to say that.
No,
'cause
it's great,
this
because I
is
got
really
relatives in there.
interesting. Oh, do you? Yeah.
So, you got a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you, Bob. Next item is Megan with the Planning Commission appointments.
Good morning, Commissioners. Megan Dobchevsky with Community Development. Our Planning Commission has 2 vacancies currently. Upon review of an application and an interview, the Planning Division recommends Malcolm Millar of the Milton Freewater area and Andrew Morris of the Umatilla area to serve on the Planning Commission. So I'm requesting that Mr. Morris be appointed to position number 5 and Mr. Millar be appointed to position number 9. Both terms would expire December 31st, 2027, and both individuals would have eligibility to serve for 1 additional 4-year term if they chose. Questions?
Questions, comments?
I'm assuming this is the one that, yeah. I have no questions, but I would move to adopt order BCC 2023-050.
Second.
With that, I want to thank Megan for all the work she did in putting together these interviews, taking the time. And now the big work starts in training new planning commission folks. That is not an easy job or an easy one to fill, so great job. Got a motion and a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Megan. Next one is Emergency Management Grant. Mr. Sage Dolan.
Morning, board. Sage along with emergency management. Come before you for the approval of emergency management grant from TC Energy to Umatilla Rural Fire Protection District for a total of $5,000, and the approval of payment from the TC Energy grant to Umatilla County Fire District 1 for a total of $5,000. I was going to have the two chiefs here, but due to time constraints in the holiday season, we weren't able to get those individuals here to show you exactly what those products do, but hopefully in the future we could bring those down and show you guys. The two products that are being purchased are two thermal imaging cameras, so these detect leaks in hostile fire events, and they're going to be able to use for search and rescue through rivers or in the mountainous areas to find individuals. The second one for Umatilla County Fire District 1 are 3 Zoll automatic external defibrillators, and I believe, I don't want to speak for them, but I believe those are going to go out into the community in Hermiston in different areas to keep people safe and help with those events. So that's what I have for you.
Questions, comments?
I will say that thermal imaging camera, I'll tell a quick story. Years ago, we had about a 2-year-old autistic boy who ran off, and it was about this time of year, really cold, and all he was wearing was a diaper. And his parents were obviously distraught, and one of the firefighters had one of those in his vehicle, and Life Flight said, hey, we'll take it up in the helicopter. They took it up in the helicopter, and they found the kid within seconds. So those things are amazing.
Have you, great work on this and great work coordinating it. You just coordinated CAPS basically on that one for sure. Have you had much time with TransCanada or TC Energy?
I've sat down with a couple of the individuals from that company and discussed the pipelines, and they're more of a feeder to the natural gas around here, but great individuals to work with, and obviously want to help out our community, so appreciate it.
Yeah, they're going to be a major player in things that John has going, or Commissioner Schaefer has going to. So. Wishes?
I move approval of payments to each agency for the amount of $5,000 for a total of $10,000.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Road survey.
Mr. Fellows is out of the area right now and is unavailable to be here. So this is a request for the survey of a portion of a canal road. The records do not conform with the location of the road that's currently traveled. And so the first step in the legalization process to have it surveyed, and so as before the board is proposed order to authorize the survey of a portion of a canal road.
Questions, comments?
I just have a question. Was there a new part of Canal Road that was put in, or what's the?
It's just never been, the portion of Canal Road that's being used and has defined right-of-ways has never been legalized.
Right, I mean, there was some, they just can't find the records for part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, being involved in this one, it is important to have records. Wishes?
Yeah, I move to adopt order number RD 2023-04.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The next one is the ECHO CBP grants. You want me to do that?
Sure.
We just had a meeting of the ECHO Community Benefit Plan, and their recommendations, which is fairly consistent with them, is that to grant funds to both the walking trail, which is in the town, that one they would like to extend to 2024, and the other is the two items for the fire department, which would like to be extended to December 31st of 2024. So they also ask for the distribution of community benefit plan money for the bay door insulation at $410, and then the start of their drone program at $1,549. Any questions, comments?
Does the walking trail tie into the Umatilla?
That's the theory eventually.
Okay.
And Stan's earlier comment about those multiple names.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Mr. Chair, I moved approval for the grant and adopt order BCC 2023-049.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. This item is the surplus litigation.
Okay, recently the U.S. Supreme Court ruled unconstitutional the process for the sale of tax foreclosed properties, including the process in Oregon. And as a result of that, sales that were concluded prior to the unconstitutionality decision are potential litigation. And so right now there is one pending in the Oregon District Court that has a potential for being a class action lawsuit against all the counties in the state to try to set up a process for all of the previous tax property owners to come back to get their portion of any surplus proceeds that were received by the counties and distributed to the taxing districts. And so what's before the board is to determine if Umatilla County wants to proceed with a joint defense for the surplus litigation.
And the recommendation is from
The recommendation
council.
is to proceed. A similar litigation was conducted 2 years ago, and it worked out well for the counties and have a joint defense.
Wishes?
I move to authorize Umatilla County to participate in joint defense of litigation for surplus tax sales proceeds and retention of outside counsel.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
More positions? No.
No. Do that or?
Who wants?
I don't have the details in front
Oh,
of me.
you don't know?
Robert Paul, CFO, Umatilla County. This year, we began a process to hopefully make budgeting more accurate and more thought out. And the process involved polling the departments for what kinds of position changes or additions they might want, and having the Board of Commissioners review those and make recommendations for what position changes we might make for the 24-25 budget. That's been done, and there is a list of those reclassifications and changes in positions that will result in about a $1.3 million increase in the 24-25 budget from this year. Do you have any questions about that?
The only comment I want to say is thanks to everyone who participated in that this year. I thought it was a great process. And I think that each of the departments took it very seriously. And I think they brought some thought out requests back to the commissioners. And as we asked them to do is to kind of keep our strategic goals in mind as they did that. And I think that the participation was better than expected and actually at a higher level. I think everything was done very professionally. So I want to thank everybody, including your department, for putting all the information together and bringing it back to the commissioners for discussion and recommendations. I do want to point out that not everybody got everything they asked for by any means. But I thought that the results that you're bringing to us now represented the very best outcome that we could expect financially and probably professionally as a county. So thank you guys very much for all that work.
Yeah, Finance did a lot of work, and so did HR, so
Absolutely.
thank them as well.
Wishes?
I just have a question
Oh,
for
okay.
Robert. Robert, how do you think this all, now that it's done, and did it work
I
out
think-
the way you were thinking it would?
I think it was long overdue. I believe that we should do it going forward. I was I guess, somewhat surprised at the number of positions that were requested. But it's been a number of years since we've really approached anything like this way. And so I think the results were good. We'll have to be very considered. We'll have to have considered discussion of future changes, but I do believe this was a good result.
Wishes?
I move to authorize inclusion in proposed budget for 24-25 potential position impacts up to 1.3 million to the extent possible and still maintain a balanced budget.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
again, Robert. That was good. Next item on the agenda is the county central pipeline project.
In a way, it's sort of related, but this is basically
Oh, sorry.
a corollary to it. The county has identified a potential adjoining neighboring water source that could be utilized to access water from Columbia River and be distributed through the central pipeline tie-in. And so what's before the board is a request for a feasibility study to see how this potential water source might be utilized and the cost for it, and then also to get an option from the property owner to do the feasibility study.
Mr. Chair, I move to authorize a study and option to determine the feasibility of a second river intake for the central pipeline project.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Letter of support for Hacienda. You want me to handle that?
Sure.
What this is a request from John Alt and the Hacienda group, which is a group out of Portland that has projects in Umatilla, Hermiston, and wishing for a project in Stanfield. What they do is they come in and the city of Umatilla and the city of Hermiston have supported the projects for affordable housing. One is across the street from city of Umatilla, and the second one is on a 5-acre site donated by the city of Hermiston for affordable housing units, really targeting some of the culture diversity in those communities, including Stanfield. And this letter doesn't commit us to anything except for the support to make this project move forward. So, wishes?
I didn't know Stanfield was involved. I thought it was just Hermiston and Umatilla.
No, Stanfield's the third one.
Oh, well, they are?
Yeah, they have property.
We might want to change the letter because it doesn't mention Stanfield.
Did he have it in his suggested?
No, I just talked about Hermiston and Umatilla.
He's already got that funded. I would like to see Stanfield in the letter, but I can get together with John and have that changed. But are you still in favor? I guess.
Yeah, I just, you know what, I am just, once again, here we are on the west side of the county, which they're being very proactive, good for them. And it was interesting to hear that these folks had actually approached Milton Free Water. I guess they started out there, and there was absolutely no interest. And so, of course, I'm in favor of this because there's a real need there, especially for workforce housing, median income housing. And I'm sorry that this isn't happening all across the county.
Could be.
It could be,
Yeah,
and
it has the opportunity to expand, but Hacienda is not the only group that does this, right?
yeah,
There are others.
that but my hat's off to the west side of the county for recognizing there's a need and jumping on this. So anyway, I move to approve the letter and authorize chair to sign.
Second.
All those in favor, before we do that,
Change.
yeah, can I modify the motion if the second is
Well,
willing.
The only thing I want to make sure is that the originator, what's his name, John?
John Alt.
John Alt, as long as he's okay with it. 'Cause
Okay, I'll call
everything
him.
I've seen hasn't.
No, I'm gonna ask him for the
Yeah,
language.
If he says yes, then I'm all for it.
Okay, so how do we handle that motion? Or do we?
It's included in the motion because it's just a letter, and so we can revise the letter.
Perfect. Been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Amazingly, that concludes our agenda. Comments, Commissioner Timmons? Commissioner Schaefer? No. I do, as this is my last as the first round as being a chair, I would like to thank, I wish they were all here, but all of the departments of Umatilla County that made this year, I think, a success. There was nothing that I asked or requested that went unanswered by anybody. Didn't always like the answer, but it got answered. And I have to say, one of my goals personally is to learn something new every day, and it's been that as the chair for sure. And it's been a learning experience, but I think that as with the personnel issue, I think that we actually were able to institute as a great team a lot of things that are going to move the county forward. I thought our strategic goal process was extremely beneficial, and we were able to reach out to the departments and include those. The quarterly department head meetings were everything from economics to AI, and also dealt with the activities in the jail and who and when folks were released. We had a lot of challenges this year in a lot of different ways. And I think that each one of those was addressed by everybody very professionally. So I'd like to thank Commissioner Timmons and Commissioner Schaefer for a great year. And Merry Christmas to everybody and their families, and make sure that everyone understands that family really is the number one thing. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
That's all I got. Meeting adjourned.
Coffee cup.